Hello everyone, I am Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at FansHobby's Athena. Now, this figure was purchased over at The Chosen Prime, and after getting it out of the box, I have to admit, car mode, fantastic. The Porsche 959 that the figure is modeled after is utterly beautiful. The figure also comes with a series of stickers. I'm not going to be applying any of the stickers, but let me get you that sticker sheet so you can see what your options are. The stickers themselves are pretty darn nifty. They are kind of a hodgepodge of a couple of different things, but we do have the Red Cross logo, or a literal Red Cross here, and then in the middle, and then the bigger ones go on the hood of the vehicle, which splits in half, and that makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to add any of them here simply because I suck at applying stickers. I just absolutely suck at it, but I'm glad they're included. There aren't that many, but I'm glad they're included. It comes also with this little card that's for Athena. On the front, we've got the robot mode, MB-12, and then the nice, cool font that they use for FansHobbies. And on the back, we've got some of the information: strength, wisdom, speed, courage, firepower, endurance, and tactics. And it's alt mode, with the stickers applied. Now, the figure comes with a couple of accessories, the first of which being this tiny little gun that folds out, or folds the barrel out, and then you fold the little tiny handle down. And my fat fingers are just a little bit too big, so I end up needing like a screwdriver or a spudger or something else to do that for me, because what can I say? I'm an old man. I'm an old man with big fat ham hands. Now, one might be wondering how big the gun is. It's the same size, roughly, as the Headmaster. Here you can see the Headmaster that the figure comes with, and it's a tiny little thing. Now, our small little friend can fit inside the vehicle mode. The roof does pop right off, and you can see the figure, or I should say the little friend, is collapsed there against the wheel. I didn't have it very well situated very well. And the helmet that is used in robot mode is all in there, and so is the gun. Though yeah, both guns are back there. Jeez. If you hadn't guessed, I'm having to do a voiceover because, oh boy, audio corruption is fun, isn't it? Yep, that's the inside and the back of the vehicle mode. There is trunk space, which I do appreciate, but it's kind of taken up by the legs. And then the guns. Neat. Little tiny car that has a roof that can come off. And let me tell you, I'm glad that roof comes off, because taking that roof off really helps the transformation be just a little bit easier. Taking a look at the figure up close, it's pretty well detailed for its size. It's a lot more detailed than anything from Titan's Returns, being the Titan Masters, obviously. I like it. I think it works well, and it's a great little nod to Minerva. It's not exact, but I'll take it. It's fine. Posability is pretty good. Head is on a ball joint. There's a ball joint in the shoulders and the upper legs, and then hinge joints for the elbows and for the bottom of the legs. The face of the giant robot that it becomes the head of pops off, and you can easily swap it for a different one of the faces. The figure comes with a variety of faces, none of which I'm going to use here. Transformation for the head, or the little figure, is very simple. There is a tiny little hinge joint just above the crotch in the abdomen. Simply fold the figure up at that point, flip up the legs, grab the little seat section, and then slide that on top of the robot mode, and straighten out the arms, and you're pretty much done. That's about all she wrote for that transformation. The rest of the transformation, however, is a bit of a pain in the arse. The top of the roof does come off, as I stated earlier, but then that whole section gets kind of folded up and collapses and twists around just to stay out of the way, and then you put it off to the side and you're left with the convertible. Now, the convertible's transformation, a little bit more complicated. To start off with, you come to the back, split it open, and pull the rear wheel wells out, and those will form the shoulders and the arms, and the entire upper torso of the robot mode is sticking off the back at this point. What you end up with right there is something that looks like out of a Bond film. Unpeg the doors, and they will fold down, flipping down the, what do you call them? Windows? Yes, windows. And then they will flip in, they will collapse. Essentially, they will completely collapse and then collapse onto the back of the front of the vehicle mode, once the front of the vehicle mode is split open. There are a couple of other panels that need to be flipped and moved in order for the torso to look right. And then the back of the vehicle mode, which is essentially the back seat, gets flipped around and folded up, and that becomes the back of the robot mode. It is a bit of a pain in the butt. The directions aren't entirely clear about what to do here, and I keep having to do it over and over because every time I do it, it ends up being wrong. And maybe that's just my eyes not working correctly. I don't know, because it's just confusing. And if you do things out of order, which that's the reason I left that section in there, was because I kept doing it out of order. The legs, split the front of the vehicle open, unfold the outer wheel wells out, and then it's a whole lot of origami here. You end up having to flip the entire section out and around, flip out the legs, and then turn a couple of sections around, flip out the inside, which is essentially the engine, and that will flip around and then get folded into section as the foot, and then repeat the process on the other side. Getting the figure back into vehicle mode isn't actually that bad, as long as you just look at the directions and reverse it. Unfortunately, my figure has some loose hips. The shoulders themselves are folded down, and then this is where things get a little bit silly. The actual wheel arches do have a tendency to pop off way too easily, and there are a couple of hinges in there that are meant to be in very specific patterns. And again, the directions aren't 100% clear. I think I've got it to the best of my ability here. And then we pop the head in. And yeah, believe it or not, getting that head on is a little bit harder than you might think, and then pop on the backpack. Once all the cursing is done, we end up with a robot mode that's actually pretty good. It's a nice looking version of Minerva that I can't seem to focus on. Overall, I do like it. The backpack is a bit unwieldy and, let's face it, not great looking, and it does get in the way of the shoulders, but the shoulder pads are 100% posable. You can move the shoulder pads any way you want, within reason, obviously. Overall, robot mode from 360-degree look is pretty darn good. The head mode or head sculpt is also quite good, and the posability of the figure is also good. Head is on a ball joint, little limited, has full swivel look though. Can look up that much, can look down that much, can actually look down more than other figures. Shoulders, again, the shoulder pads are on multi-hinged joints and ball joints. The shoulders themselves are on ball joints as well, though it's a little bit limited. In and out movement is pretty good. There is a swivel just above the elbow, and the elbow is double hinged. Backpack comes off easily, which I actually do appreciate, and reasonably easily. It's not going to just fall off, which is good. I'm glad that it doesn't just fall off. There are two little circular discs that the figure comes with that those can be pegged into the back in those open circular sections that, honestly, I don't know why they even bothered. I really don't. As I said, swivel above the elbow, specifically it's a bicep swivel, and then the shoulder pads are posable. Double bend at the elbow, so you have a hinge at the elbow, and then a double bend just below that, or double hinge, specifically for the transformation. Fists are on ball joints, and then the hands themselves are come with mostly individually articulated fingers. The fingers do open and close rather easily. The thumbs are not articulated much. They do have a hinge. I'm sorry, not a hinge. That is a swivel. Yeah, double knuckles, and the bend at the thumb. Yeah, it works. It can hold a couple of different weapons, including the ones she comes with, and there are some other weapons that she can hold, though if they're too heavy, she's not going to be able to hold them all that well. The figure possesses a nice ab crunch. Like, seriously, the ab crunch on this thing is crazy. The only thing stopping the ab crunch is that little grill in the tummy. And then there is plenty of articulation of the rest of the waist, the rest of the hip. It's a ball joint. It's a little tiny loose on my figure. There is some noodliness going on there. Upper thigh swivel and then bend at the knee. There is a double bend at the knee on this figure. And then the feet are plenty articulated. We'll get into that here in just a second as I continue to point out the fact that the knees are double jointed. Side-to-side movement of the foot. And then there is a little bit of forwarded back and toe articulation. No real heel articulation at all, which, that's fine. Overall, a very posable figure that holds together mostly well. Size-wise, here is Siege Soundwave and Kingdom Megatron. It's roughly a Voyager-class figure. At the size price point, it's a little high in price, though. And then here is Deluxe class. Oh, I'm sorry, these are MP Sideswipe and Wheeljack. Yeah, masterpiece figures that I forgot I had that are in the depths of my display cabinet. Yeah, it's about the same size as an MP figure. And then here are some larger figures. We've got Carrie, we've got Generations Primal, and then that Starscream is Make Toys Starscream. Howling Meteor, is that what it is? And then here is Jazz, or I should say Make Toys Jazz. Yeah, Make Toys Jazz is roughly the same size as this figure, but feels more substantial just because it's wider. Overall, Athena is a pretty darn good third-party figure. Now, FansHobby has created more figures in this line, including a hose head and a siren. If you're thinking of picking those up, good luck. It's been hard to find any of those figures on the shelves at your local e-retailer. Overall, I'm not going to be picking up any more of the FansHobby's Headmaster Jr. set. Even though I like Athena, I just don't have a desire for the other two whatsoever. So folks, let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to hit the bell so you're notified when a new video is out. And I'll catch you all next time, hopefully with some more Studio Series reviews.